Awesome. All right, guys, let's get started. Thanks for the energy already in the chat. Love to see it. I'm Sean Whalen. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Hopskip. For those of you who might not be super familiar with us, we're a platform that meeting and event professionals, hospitality professionals use to streamline how they source, contract business conferences, meetings, events at hotels. So we work with a ton of professional meeting and event planners, and of course, a ton of hotel sales teams. Today, what we're going to cover is the overall kind of workflow of Hopskip. We host these on a monthly basis. It's kind of like a lunch and learn. You get an overview of the platform, an opportunity to ask any questions. I'll try and provide some tips and tricks as we go along. And this is also an opportunity to get an idea of some of the features that exist on the platform across both our free plan and our paid plan. So just to make sure I'm a little clearer on that, what I mean by that is Hopskip's 100% free for hotels to receive, to respond, and to win business from the Hopskip platform. We do have an option to upgrade to a premium subscription that allows you to unlock a certain set of features that are aimed to provide your hotel more awareness and higher conversion rates on the platform. So, and we can cover some of what those are throughout the workflow. If you have any questions during, I'll try and answer them live. Please put them in the chat though. We or someone from the Hopskip team will make sure that we get your questions answered. All right, let's jump in. So first page that you will always see when you log in or sign up to Hopskip is your RFP dashboard. This is where you're going to see all the different RFPs or leads that you currently have for your property or properties. So one thing I'll call out here, because I know that there's some folks that represent multiple hotels that are on today. If you represent multiple hotels, you're going to just have one login for Hopskip. That's all you'll need. You'll see leads across your properties if indeed you represent more than one on this view. You'll be able to see those names of the specific properties that the lead is for right on the RFP card. So as you can see here, this hotelier user that I'm logged in with is representing the Charlotte Uptown, but also the Hyatt Regency Atlanta, for example. Each one of these cards, I'm sure as you assumed, is an RFP. Each one of these columns is a different stage in the sales process. So think of this as your pipeline of Hopskip leads. You can switch views. A lot of hoteliers I don't think know this, by clicking on this toggle. This allows you to be able to view in a list or table format, which allows you to be able to see statuses across your RFPs across all stages. So what I mean by that is in the card view, this is just your active RFPs. If I switch to the table view, I'm able to see canceled or declined leads as well. I can also filter by owner or assignee. So when you receive an RFP, a lot of our hotel users, they have a team, right? And that lead catcher is typically the one opening up the lead, like I'm doing right now by just clicking on the card. As soon as I open up the lead, I'll be able to also see if I represent more than one property, the specific property that the lead is for. Once this RFP opens, I'm going to be presented with this pop-up. What this pop-up means is, or what it's saying is, by opening up this RFP, we're going to inform the planner that you've confirmed that you've received this lead and that you have begun reviewing. That's going to change your status from RFP received or new to reviewing. That gives the planner an indication that, all right, this is on your radar and you've started to do the review. When you get into the RFP, for the first page, it's always going to be the RFP summary. This is a one-page snapshot of what the request is, and it's meant to provide you with a quick summary of what the lead is asking for, so you can make a decision right off the bat if this is something that's going to fit your property. You would progress through the RFP at the top, you'll see these horizontal tabs. So we were just on the RFP summary tab. We're going to the program info tab where I can find more information around the event profile, the group profile, any key success factors or deal breakers that you should be aware of. That's going to provide you with some competitive intelligence to make the best proposal possible. You can also see here at the bottom of this page, history of the event, if it's a reoccurring program. On the contract details, you'll be able to find out things like the payment methods for meeting space, F&B, AV, and your room block, as well as the contract signer. Once you get to the proposal builder tab, this is where you're going to start actually creating the proposal. So first tab, just like it is on the RFP summary, they're going to be horizontal at the top, is your room rate tab. This is where you're going to find out the number of guest rooms by room type, by date that's being requested. To enter a room rate, it's as simple as just literally typing in a number. As I enter in the required information on each tab, I'm going to see this red exclamation mark change to a green check mark. If you're ever wondering what information is still remaining or required for any specific tab, all you have to do is just hover over that icon and you'll see in the tooltip what information is still required or remaining. My event space tab is where, depending on if you filled out your hotel profile, specifically the event space, this tab could take you very, very quick. So let me back up for a second. What this tab is requesting, or this section of the RFP, this is where the planner's communicating you their meeting space requirements. Planners are requesting you to provide a meeting room name to assign the meeting room. You can, in your hotel profile, set up your meeting space once so that when you receive a meeting space request, and you're assigning a room, you're simply just selecting the specific room name from the drop-down. All of the information related to that room is going to self-populate. You would click assign. Hopskip is then going to recognize that this planner has requested this same meeting room all 4 days of the event. So it's going to ask you, do you want to assign this out for all following days of the event? We're going to click assign. And now that room is assigned each day that meeting space is being requested for. So that allows you to not have to go row by row. If I wanted to find out any details, like, let me show you here. If the planner had any notes to communicate with me, I would be able to see those notes here, and I'd be able to provide additional notes or comments back to the planner here. If I wanted to mark these rooms as TBD or to be determined, because we understand too, sometimes hoteliers might not know which meeting room is able to be assigned to this meeting space request. That's okay too. Just click mark all rooms TBD, and then that would change your assignment to TBD for all event space requests. F&B section of the proposal builder is where you have the option as a hotelier to either input detailed food and beverage rates or elect to provide a minimum. We know planners really care about, when requesting F&B, detailed rates, but we also know too, that's not always possible for you as the hotelier, and you can elect to provide a minimum. This is where you would make that selection. So if you wanted to submit detailed rates, you would check this box. If you wanted to submit a minimum, you would check that box and you would enter that minimum on the taxes and fees tab. The question section is where planners are asking your property specific questions. You'll see the question, you'll see the number of questions being asked. You'll see each individual question one by one. You would provide an answer to that question and click next. You'll see on the right-hand side an outline of your completion of those questions, and you can skip ahead to a question and come back to another one, super easy. And we're going to be launching 2 very soon. The ability for you, when you receive a repeat question, to provide a repeat answer. So you're going to be able to essentially save answers to frequently asked questions and reuse them time and time again. Concessions, same concept. So planners have the ability to request concessions. You have the ability to approve or decline those concessions. You would see each concession in an outline format on the right, just like questions. You would deny or offer, and then you can provide as a counter if you were to deny in the comment section of the concession. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going. Here is your contract clauses. So planners have the ability to request contract language to be included in the agreement. We are not asking you to approve or decline this contract language at the time of receiving the RFP. We're simply asking you to acknowledge the receipt of this request. What that means on Hopskip is you're not agreeing to including that language in the agreement. You are agreeing to have a conversation with the planner if indeed your property gets shortlisted for this booking. The general tab is where you would enter some high-level information around the expiration and cutoff date, as well as your contact information that will pre-populate. If you're the one responding to the RFP, your contact information will pre-populate based on the information you provide when you create your account. You can, of course, override that. Taxes and fees section. So we know taxes and fees are, of course, part of the overall proposal cost, and that's important for planners to understand at a unit level to be able to understand what the total proposed cost is, inclusive of taxes and fees. So this is where you would enter that information. You can also customize or add your own specific taxes and fees that might not be, the standard. How to do that would be click add new. You would enter a name for that tax or that fee. You would put in a label of how you want that tax or fee to appear when your team's entering it and when the planner's reviewing it. You would specify whether that tax or fee is a flat rate or percentage, and then you would enter that value of the tax or fee in this text box here. Once you create that tax or fee, you have the option to save that back to your hotel profile. The assumption is that you would want to do that. So we have it checked by default, but you can simply uncheck it and use that tax or fee as a one-off. All right. Once I complete that information, I've pretty much now created the proposal. This is like supplemental information that I could add in forms of an attachment if I wanted on the attachments tab, but the proposal is now done. It's not yet submitted. So to submit the proposal, I'm going to go to my review proposal tab. This is where you'll see a summary of what you just created and what you're about to propose. I didn't fill out all the information here just for the sake of time, so it wouldn't allow me to submit it. And I can tell that because I can see this red exclamation mark telling me that I have information remaining. If I wanted to hover over to identify the specific information that's still remaining to be added to my proposal, I can just hover over the icon and then go back to the specific tabs. Once I've filled out everything in my proposal and I'm ready for it to go back to the planner, I simply click submit. Hopskip's going to ask me to confirm. I of course didn't provide enough information, so it's not going to allow me to submit it. But once I click submit, what happens is that proposal is now sent back to the other side of the platform where the planner is getting notified that they have a proposal from your property. They will click a button in that email and be brought right back to Hopskip to begin reviewing and hopefully awarding your proposal. I will pause for a sec just in case there's any questions. That was the main kind of overall, I've received an RFP and I now want to respond with a proposal. What I'm going to show you next is if you receive an RFP and it's not a fit for your property, what do you do? So let's open up an RFP. Hopskip's going to ask me, or excuse me, inform me that we're changing the status from new to under review. I click OK. And now, instead of going through the proposal builder, I notice, you know what, largest event space needed isn't going to work for our property. So I'm going to turn it down, unfortunately. To turn it down, just like where I would click submit proposal, you'll see to the left, this turn down button. Hopskip, before you officially turn it down, is going to ask you to confirm that you're ready to turn this down. And it's also going to inform you if the planner has noted in the RFP that they're willing to suggest proposed dates from the hotel. Hopskip's going to warn you, hey, before you turn this down, just to make sure you're aware, you can propose dates and submit a proposal for the dates that weren't requested specifically by the planner. If indeed I still wanted to move forward with the turn down, I would just click turn down request. I would provide a reason why, and then I click submit. Now, the last thing I'll show you when receiving an RFP that is super important, I think, to a lot of sales teams that are, let's say, bigger than 2 or 3 folks, is the assigning process. So again, when you receive an RFP, it's going to be in the new column. What you can do without even needing to jump into the RFP details is you can click this little clipboard icon on the right side of the RFP card. This is going to open up a side panel. The side panel is going to give you a summary of the request, and you'll also be able to assign one of your teammates right from this screen. So if I had a teammate already set up in my hotel profile, right, and that's part of the kind of onboarding process, we highly suggest that you invite your team members to create accounts when you're activating your hotel profile on Hopskip, because what that allows them to do is 2 things. One, the person who already has an existing account, the lead catcher in this case, they just simply click your name from a drop down and then click assign RFP, and it's seamless. That contact is going to get an email notification that they've been assigned, and they're jumping right into Hopskip to begin reviewing and responding. If indeed they're not set up yet, you can still assign them, or they don't have a Hopskip account yet, just your hotel does, but not that individual user. You can still assign them when you receive an RFP, but they're going to have to go through the sign-up process first before getting access to the request. So what we suggest when you first create your Hopskip account, or even if you've created your Hopskip account, for the first time years ago, but haven't done this, is go into your hotel profile. Your hotel profile is where you can manage many different attributes of how your property is displayed to planners, also who has access to your hotel and proposals. So let me do a quick rundown of how you get here and what these entail. At the highest level, you're just going to click this icon right here, and then you're going to see these tabs on the left-hand side. You're going to get a warning notification if your hotel profile is not complete. As you could see, Hopskip's warning me, part of my location information needs updating. I would go through each one of these tabs and I would add the attributes that are specific to my property. And as I do that, and why that's important is because Hopskip will show your hotel higher in search. So let me back up. One question we always get asked from hoteliers is, how do you determine who gets shown or displayed or ranked in search results? The answer to that is twofold. There's 2 big inputs that go into that on the hotel side on Hopskip. First is completeness of your hotel profile. The reason why that matters is because when planners are searching and trying to discover properties, they want to know all the details of your property and to see if it's a good fit before even sending you the RFP. Hopskip, of course, provides filters and capabilities to do that kind of search. But in order for those capabilities to be impactful, the attributes of the hotel profile need to be as complete as possible. So we award and incentivize hotels to come in and provide that hotel profile makeover so that when you get searched or your market is searched, you're going to rank higher in search results based on the completeness of your profile. So that's why you'll see these warnings throughout. Go through here, you would fill in things like, your ratings, amenities, hotel type, any awards and recognition. Photos is where you can update and upload new photos. You can choose which one's your hero photo or your main photo, as well as your support photos, list out your guest rooms on your guest rooms tab. Your meeting space tab is where, as I mentioned earlier, you would list out the different specs of your meeting rooms. This is where if you spend the time initially getting set up, you're going to save a lot of time later on when assigning meeting rooms. You can also see too how your hotel is being displayed or marketed to Hopskip planners on the other side of the platform on the preview tab. And then under your proposal settings, these are where you can set up your defaults to automatically populate every time you receive an RFP when building a proposal. So what I mean by that is your taxes and fees, those were already pre-populated for me. If you remember, like a couple minutes ago when I was responding with a proposal, the reason why they were pre-populated is because I took a few minutes when creating my hotel user account to enter this information once, save it, and now every time I'm entering taxes and fees, it's done for me. Your F&B rates. So I showed you earlier how you can submit detailed food and beverage rates. You don't have to enter those line by line every time, right? You come in here once, you update this once, save it, and now every time you receive an F&B proposal, or excuse me, RFP, it's pretty much done as soon as you start. You can, of course, customize, edit before you submit the proposal. You can also customize your decline reasons. So whenever you turn down a hotel's proposal, we ask you to provide a reason why. Whenever you turn down a planner's RFP, we ask you to provide a reason why. You can customize, create your own. Lastly, or second to last, comp set. So we know hotels care deeply about analytics, benchmarking against your competitor set. You have the ability on Hopskip to set up a comp set on the premium plan, which the premium plan on Hopskip is just the fancy word for paid. What that allows you to do is you create a comp set, you can then benchmark your hotel's performance against your comp set's performance. And how you do that is on your comp set dashboard. So by unlocking the premium subscription, you're able to determine how your performance is against that comp set that I just set up. This is where you do so and measure that output or that performance. So you can see a stack rank of how your hotel's competing from an opportunity value, from an ADR standpoint, or bookings versus your competitor set. I'm going to just jump back to the last tab here before we start wrapping up. Team members. Since I spoke about this earlier, I didn't want to leave anyone hanging. So this is where, as I mentioned, you have unlimited seats or users accounts under each hotel profile that you can use, right? Many hotel sales teams, they'll have between 2 and 10 sales team members with Hopskip accounts. To invite a team member, you simply click the invite button in the top right, enter that email, and then from there, you can also set up this individual to receive all new leads. So if you're a lead catcher, you want to make sure that this toggle is turned on, which it's right here, send all RFPs. And what that means is for every new RFP your property receives, you're going to be notified and it essentially assign quote unquote lead catcher to then assign it out or to respond directly on your behalf right when you receive it. So that oftentimes what we'll see is one person designated as the lead catcher and the rest of the team have this turned off. That lead catcher will receive an email informing them of a new RFP. They'll jump into that email or they'll click the button in that email to jump into Hopskip, and then they'll assign it or review and respond immediately. All right. I think we're just about out of time. We had a question come in. As a destination, so let me try and answer this quickly here. As a destination, I am often on the sideline on this. Other than writing the planner, is there any way that I can put in any documents or links to the planner? Yes. So this is, I believe this is a DMO related question. Just like hotels have the ability to do so, you have the ability to upload, share attachments, And you can also upload them, save them to your profile, and set them up to automatically be included. So this is a good example here. I'm in a hotel's profile, but same concept. Document library is where you would do that. So you would be able to upload, like, whether it's a marketing brochure or F&B menu, upload those floor diagrams, in this case, upload those once, and then you'll have the option to pull those in to any lead and any response that you're creating on Hopskip. Awesome. All right, guys, we are just about out of time. I hope today's session was helpful. I appreciate everybody's engagement and attendance. If there's any questions we didn't answer during today's session, like I mentioned, please reach out. We are also doing this on a monthly basis. So please join us at the next one, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.